Week 3 in the NFL was a kicker's nightmare. Well, unless it wasn't. We have 2 Philly sports legends here to celebrate that epic kick 6. We have a Thursday night preview. Get ready to spread them.
The money keep calling my name. Dollar signs make you sing.
Nobody reps Philly with more passion than Jamie Paet. You know him as the Philly sports guy, but he is a Philadelphia legend through and through. Everyone, please welcome Jamie Paet.
Hey, Ashley, thank you for having me. What an intro.
I'm so
I
glad
don't
you're
like
here.
to say that I'm even a legend, but I appreciate it.
You are. Oh, please. I have been to any Eagles game I've ever been to. I know you're there, and I know there is a line around the block waiting to take pictures and talk to you and meet you. So you are definitely a legend in my eyes.
Well, that's something I really do appreciate because, like I said, without them, it wouldn't matter. So it's amazing how many pictures I do take every game.
I have some questions about this. So how did this all start? Did you just paint your face one day and then it took off? Or how did you become, because you are at every game. Every game.
So I've been painting my face for over 25 years. And I was doing it mostly at away games just because there was somebody before me who's still doing it, actually. His name is Sean Young. And he's been a Hall of Fame Eagles fan forever. And I just didn't, want to step on his toes a little bit because we have very similar looks. And the Eagles game, when we played the Saints in the playoffs, after winning the Super Bowl that next year, unfortunately when Alshon Jeffrey dropped the ball, that was, they showed me a lot that day. And a production company asked me there afterwards to do a commercial for them. And they're like, wow, your energy is amazing. You're like the Philly sports guy. You should see if that name's available. And it was.
I love that.
And at the time, my mother, who was on her deathbed, unfortunately, she had COPD and emphysema. And we were talking, and she said, hey, listen, if you're looking to do this Philly sports guy thing, do it. I mean, we're only above the grass for so long. Enjoy your life and do what you love. And then she said, when you were like 9 years old, you asked me how come people didn't paint up for different sporting events other than football. Why does it only seem to be football? And I was like, well, what did you answer? She goes, I don't know. Go outside and play. But her saying that and saying that at 9 years old, I was asking why don't people paint up for all the sporting events. That's
right.
Maybe it was my calling from way back when.
So for everyone that doesn't know, Jamie paints his face for hockey games, for the Phillies, for baseball, for the WNBA and NBA, which I've seen, which is really nice. And you do soccer too, Liberty now?
So I do the Union. The WNBA is not here yet, but I'm waiting for them to come.
Okay.
I have painted myself.
Sorry, it's Union.
Absolutely. And I have painted myself. There was a professional female football team that was called the Phantoms in Philadelphia that I did paint up for them as well. So any professional team in Philadelphia that's here, I've painted up for.
It's incredible. Okay, so we need to talk about this process because it takes me about 35 to 40 minutes, I would say, to put on makeup, roughly from start to finish. And that's including, sipping some coffee, watching some TV. Now, how long does it take you to do your face painting?
Typically, the entire process takes about an hour. Between doing my hair.
You got it down.
Yeah, between doing my hair, which takes about 20 minutes to a half hour, depending on how tough of a hair day I'm having, into then just putting on the makeup. Like I says, I could get it done quicker, but I usually like to take about an hour as an entire process.
Now, this green mohawk we have here, is that green all the time or no?
So it changes colors with the jersey. So, for instance, if I'm going to a Phillies game, it can be red or blue. If I'm going to a Flyers game, it could be orange or black. And the same thing with the Sixers or the Union. I can change it to gold or blue, red, whatever color is necessary.
And does it wash out? What are we using to dye this hair? I have so many questions. Halloween is coming up, and if I want to color my hair, I'm like, how do I get it from not turning different color?
It's just a regular hairspray. Actually, it's just a colored hairspray.
Oh.
I used to go to Party City and buy them out of all the different colors. Now I have to wait for Halloween and the Halloween stores to open. And the day after Halloween, I am definitely in the store because I need to grab every bit of paint that I can.
And it's on sale. Yes. We love a sale. I love a sale. That's actually how I ended up at the Eagles game on Sunday, because the tickets were, I was just kind of looking online and I thought, oh, let me go on StubHub. And I saw field tickets, row 103, row 1. And I immediately snagged them, and they were only $250, and I was like, done. I don't care. Buying this for my birthday present to myself. I got so excited. I run downstairs and I'm hanging out with my mom, and the next thing I call my best friend. I'm like, get your husband to watch the kids. We're going to the Eagles game. I scored field tickets. I'm running around. I'm so excited. Next thing I know, I get an email and it's like, oh, those tickets don't exist, or the guy changed his mind, which means he forgot a zero, because clearly they shouldn't have been $200 and some dollars. They should have been $2,000. So he canceled, and we ended up getting good seats, but whatever. I was still just so sad because I thought I could have some field tickets. But you were at the game. I saw you. And it's always such a pleasure.
I remember from back to the first game, I was walking around MetLife Stadium, and you happened to catch me, and it was like you were doing a little bit of filming right then, and we collabed really quickly. And we've been friends ever since. So it's.
I know. Who knew? We met at a Giants stadium, and we just bonded at Giants Stadium. I saw you walking, and I said, I want to be friends with that man. He is very, I loved how confident you were, because it's a scary stadium. I was actually talking about this with my producer, who is a huge Giants fan, and it is not a beautiful stadium, right? Like, it's kind of dungeony and kind of, it's not that great, but I actually think I did wear these Eagles shorts there, and it was more kind of like, it's a subtle Eagles nod, like everything is written places like Philadelphia is here, and same thing as I have the birds, which you can't see, but I felt like fans there weren't as bad as we are. We're a little rough, but I've been more impressed. Maybe it was just because we played the Rams, but I didn't actually think Eagles fans were that tough on Rams fans this time. Did you?
There wasn't a lot of Rams
such a bad
fans
rap
out there. I mean, there were very few that I saw.
There was not.
And plus, the Rams don't have a lot of fans in general. I think a lot of their fans are still in St. Louis, and they are still upset that they moved.
Yeah.
And I know when L.A. did win the Super Bowl and they were showing the streets, they showed the tens of people that showed up there to.
The tens of people.
yeah.
Burn, baby, burn. Tens of people. By the way, I'm with you.
One of the lanes of traffic. It was.
I 100% agree with you. I technically am supposed to be living in LA, but I've been living with my mother, which is a whole nother story for another day. But I live there, and I go to all the Rams games when they're playing, obviously the Eagles, but I go to a lot of Rams games, and it is never, whoever the visitor is, there's way more sea of their colors than the blue and gold or blue and yellow. So I feel kind of bad for Rams fans, but I think they actually, there was no heckling in our section. Everybody really got along. In fact, actually more Eagles fans fought with each other, honestly, than anything.
Well, when they played the first half the way they did, that's exactly what happens. We start booing, and some fans just try not to be as negative, but they deserved a little bit of booing. I felt like that they came out of very flat and with the wrong game plan, and they had -2 yards passing, 27 yards rushing. It was like that everything that we were doing, the Rams had an answer for.
I agree. And it's funny because when we bumped into each other a second time during, I think it was halftime.
Oh, Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is killing it. How do you feel about Carson Wentz?
Is he killing it?
He is.
I said that they were going to crush it.
We watched the Vikings And Carson Wentz just was killing it. And I to this moment, I'm still upset about it, but it doesn't bother me because he's not a star anymore. And also, he's not the one that won the quarterback. He's not the one that won the Super Bowl for us. It was Big Nick. I censored myself.
I wish him all the best, actually. I know that his tenure in Philadelphia kind of ended poorly, and then he's bounced around. I mean, that start this Sunday was his 6th team starting for in 6 years. And that's actually a record in the NFL. No other quarterback has ever done that. They've been on that many teams, but not started games for each team. And he's finally home. He grew up as a Vikings fan, and being from North Dakota, that's the natural spot where he is. And I felt that he finally being there, he was going to just, explode. And they did. They crushed it over there.
He did.
I had 48-10.
Yeah.
I actually told on my podcast that I thought that it's possible that they could score 50 points, and that because the Bengals were playing with a backup quarterback, I expected their defense to score a couple of touchdowns. And it was an ex-Eagle who did that too, Isaiah Rodgers. So good on him as well.
Let's go.
Yeah, Philadelphia making lots of
noise. We have been actually. It's a good year to be an Eagles fan. Although I have to say, even though we are playing well, even though we're winning, people are saying we're not playing well. Let's talk about that for a moment because they're saying we're winning ugly, but we are still winning. So Jordan Davis coming in with the block and a 61-yard running it back. 6'6". I love when a big man runs it back, baby. It is just it made me so happy. And to watch everybody else, everyone's faces, my jaw was.
People were crying. It was such an amazing experience. It reminded me, I had never seen the Eagles. They all left the bench and went running, minus our quarterback, obviously. That Jalen Hurts did not. He was very chill about it.
So right.
Very chill about it, which I love even more so. Everything that I know about it, 100%. Oh, trust me, he was excited. Don't get that wrong, but it's hey, listen, we're calm, we're poised, we won this game. Hey, listen, he talked about it. He was like, we made so many mistakes in the first half. We got to be able to correct that. For the people that are crying or complaining that they're winning ugly and that they're not playing their best football, that's awesome. I don't want them playing their best football now. I want them playing their best football in January and February because that's where championships are won. It doesn't matter what happens right now. We can make our mistakes now because, hey, listen, if we make a mistake and we were to lose this game, it may have hurt us in the long run because who knows how the NFC Championship's going to go and where that's going to be. So it could be in L.A., and if that loss may have proved to be something. But up until that point, like I said, we can overcome any mistake right now because there's plenty of time in the season. We can't overcome those mistakes in January and February. And I want them playing their best football, just like they did last year when their best run was at the most important and critical time. And that's what I want them to do again.
I will say I 100% agree with you on that. I'd rather see it later on, but I do want to talk about the fact that A.J. Brown was open so much to the point where we were all screaming, pass it to anyone but Saquon because he was so double covered. And I was getting so frustrated because A.J. Brown was just chilling on the corner, always open. I'm like, come on. We don't have to run the ball every time. You can throw it as well. And that is something that, hey, listen, and anytime Jalen Hurts touchdown has been a great player prop parlay for me. Every week it's hit. And I'm fine with him running. He does what he needs to do to get the job done. But at the same time, you're going to have to throw the ball eventually, my man. It's a little scary to me that he relies so heavy on the run game. I do think you were right on that. He was a little stone cold. It was cool because it was like, hey, listen, I didn't win the game for us. Special teams won the game for us. So I understand that point of view, but I do think every once in a while he's allowed to get excited because everybody on the defense, on the O-line, everybody else their faces were just dropped. And in front of him, he was just kind of like, whatever, we won. And it did irk me a little. It did irk me a little as an Eagles fan. And I love Jalen Hurts. It irked me a little. I was like, come on. They reminded me a little McNabb-like, but opposite. Because you remember how McNabb used to mess up and he'd be like, oops. And I would be like, no, I don't like that you just laughed it off. Like, be mad that you screwed up. Like, take responsibility, take ownership. So, I don't know. Maybe this is the extreme opposite. We have like two extremes, although there was many other people in the middle. But I think that those are our two main like franchise style quarterbacks to compare.
And I hear you, but what I also think is that when he's out on the field, he needs to be poised and he needs to be the leader. And it's great when everybody is cheering and everybody ran over to that. It was like watching a college upset. You know, where everybody's about to tear down the post. It was kind of like that moment. It really did feel that way. And I was in the end zone that he scored the touchdown in. So it really was such
Me too. Where were you sitting?
I was in section...
Or were you on the field?
No, I wasn't on the field, but I was in section 110 right at the... like 2 sections over from where he was.
I was 113.
So you were closer to where the pile was. Because that was in 112.
Was I? I was near the Rams, where the Rams went back into the tunnel, and we were like, bye, like we were taunting them a little bit. I felt kind of bad, but you know, it was. I was in that corner, so you were on the other side,
I was
closer
actually on the other side of that, so in section 109.
Yeah.
And so it really was that feeling, and then. When you watched his interview after the fact, because you couldn't see it at the time, you could see he was really excited and he was just measured about it. And then when I saw him in the locker room, he was going nuts in the locker room, and they made sure not to show that very much. You could see a couple of little clips, but there were a lot of
interesting
different things.
Do you think that the media wants him to kind of be the bad boy a little bit, or
no, I don't think it matters. I think that the Eagles, especially the Eagles had control of all that. So it was. I think that they show certain things and they don't show other things. But this is the.
Do you think they're gonna win against the Bucs next week, or do you think?
Well,
That's a tough team.
It's a tough team, and they've had our number. But you know, as I like to say. If they think they have our number, I got a number for them, number 1, because that's where we're at right now, and that's the number I'm going to give them.
Let's go.
So, but
I mean, no one's going to touch us in the NFC East. It's. I mean, maybe the Commanders, but
they got a tough road, and especially with Daniels being hurt, it's going to be a little bit harder. Obviously, the defense picked up for them, and they were playing Sister Mary of the Blind, so it didn't really matter. But I kind of think that their start of their season, as long as Daniels is hurt, it's going to be a little bit tougher road. Because as we get towards the end of the season, they got to face us twice.
Ooh, and they got to see you twice. I am so excited that you were able to join us today. I have so many more questions I want to ask you, but I know that your time is so limited. And I have one I will leave you with. When you take this makeup off, before you take it off, actually, are you going to kiss your girlfriend? And how does the makeup last? Does it come off? Is it like red lips where you kiss and it goes everywhere?
So I don't wear lipstick ever. It's one of those things that I don't do. So if I was to give her a kiss, sometimes she
doesn't get green.
Sometimes she gets a little green on her nose or on her chin or something. But you know, it's like we are very specific on how we do that, so not to mess up the makeup or get it all over her.
I love that it's protecting the man's makeup for once and not the female makeup for once. And also you guys could share makeup wipes, which is really sweet.
Nope. I just jump right into the shower. You know, it's shampoo.
You do?
Takes this all off.
Wow, it's easy. I love it. Thank you so much, Jamie Paet. You know him as the Philly sports guy. Check him out on Instagram. Thank you, Jamie, for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Ashley.
We have Dave Osokow joining us, and if you know, you know. His name is Dave-O Philly, to those who know, and I am in the know because he's a dear friend of mine. Dave-O, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Looking forward to it.
I am so excited to get you on. Now, for people that don't know, you've had your own podcast. You are in media as well, but you are also a celebrity liaison, if you will. You have a special knack of being really friends with these celebrities and also having an in with sports, being a lover of sports. So you often take a lot of celebrities to games?
I do, specifically a lover of all things Philly, but yes, I take celebrities to all sort. I know, I like that shirt. All sorts of sporting events.
So I specifically wore this shirt for you because someone gave me a ton of crap at the Eagles game because I was wearing a Phillies hat and a shirt that actually said Philly on it. But you didn't even get to see. I was wearing my Lucky Eagles underwear, which is why I think Jordan Davis ran the 61-yard blocked field goal turned into touchdown. So not only did my team win, but I covered that spread.
You did cover the spread, but yeah, it was a little. I was shocked to see you because you're a Philly gal, and to show up in Phillies gear, which there's nothing wrong with Phillies gear. Trust me, we're Phillies people, but to show up in Phillies gear and not Eagles gear to an Eagles game seemed a little preposterous to me.
Okay, but in fairness to me, I normally have my summer Eagles stuff in Los Angeles and my winter stuff in Philly with my mom. And I honestly couldn't find my Eagles t-shirt. And as I was walking out of the house today, because I borrowed this from my stepdad, and it's really like 8 sizes too big. I have it like taped in and everything. She goes, "Oh, would you like your bedazzled shirt back? I borrowed it." And I'm like, that's where it was. I got so much crap because all my Eagle stuff, and it was way too hot for my Cunningham jersey, but I have it with me too, in case you were not loving it enough. But listen, we support all of our teams. I even have my little Phillies #1 for my little Eagles stuffed animal guy. So I don't want to hear it, okay? We still won and by the way, I made it on the Jumbotron. In my Phillies stuff.
In your Phillies gear? All right. Good. Well, we're in the playoffs as well, the Phils, and I'm excited about them. And super, super hopeful that we'll be playing in very early November.
Yeah, I hope so too. I just had Jamie on, and we talked a little bit about how, where we were when that moment hit, by the way. Where were you at 1 second left in the game? Because a lot of people left. Everyone was texting me, "Did you leave? Did you leave?" I was like, I wasn't leaving. Are you kidding me? That was the greatest ending. I get chills as I'm talking about it up and down my body. This just proves how much of a fan I am. I am still in shock that Jordan Davis ran. I love when a big boy runs. 6'6", 61-yard TD. Let's go.
Yeah, I was actually, I'm very superstitious, and a lot of times I was in the stadium, but a lot of times I'll leave and take a moment and find kind of a quiet place. So I was actually in the bathroom in the Tunnel Club, basically with my hands on the sink praying, and I couldn't watch the Rams attempt that field goal. And the second the block happened, I heard the stadium just erupt, and I sprinted out of the bathroom onto the field and was right there as Jordan was crossing the end zone, and seeing the guys all attack him, and it was an incredible moment, and it was awesome. And literally, that game was a hard game to watch. I mean, we were throwing dirt on the coffin the majority of the first half, and then to see that turnaround was incredible.
No, I'm with you. And so you are superstitious then, because I am sometimes superstitious. And I actually was listening to sports radio on the drive up, and I heard Nick Sirianni say that he was superstitious, and he actually had to, before he iced the kicker, he said, "Guys, are you going to pull a special teams one out for us? Are you going to get this?" And then after he iced the kicker, he had to say it again just to reiterate and just in case. And he even said, I'm not superstitious, but just in case. And that is the thing about Philly is I don't even know if I'm superstitious, but I do know that since I was wearing my Lucky Eagles underwear and that happened, I will be wearing them to every single game now. So, and I'm going to show them right before the play. Yeah.
You should.
Not that anyone saw.
I mean, I was after we scored the touchdown, after Devontae scored the touchdown to take the lead, I was hopeful that we'd hit the 2-point conversion. I told myself if we miss this 2-point conversion, the Rams are going to march down the field. They're going to win it on a field goal. And that's when I literally exited my seats and went into that private bathroom in the Tunnel Club and just kind of took a moment for myself. So, yeah.
I love it. I'm here for it. I mean, listen, we can use all the help we can get as Eagles fans. I mean, so, we're going to be playing against the Bucs next week. There are a lot of injuries going on right now. Let's talk about a few of these injuries from the weekend to update you guys. We have CeeDee Lamb, who's out for 3 to 4 weeks with a high ankle sprain for the Cowboys. We got Nick Bosa out for the season with a torn ACL. We also have Mike Evans, who's going to be missing a couple of games due to that hamstring injury. So good for us, bad for him. And the biggest news of all, which is being wildly reported right now, is that Russell Wilson is done in New York, and they're bringing in Jaxson Dart after just 3 weeks of a start. He had a terrible first game, a great second game, and this last one was brutal. He had 2 interceptions, ugly loss to the Chiefs. What do you think about Jaxson Dart taking over for the Giants?
I mean, I'm very torn. I'm lucky enough to know both of them. Russell's an incredible guy. He's been an incredible, standout player in the NFL, multiple Pro Bowls, Super Bowl champion, and a good human being first and foremost. Jackson's a young gun. He's fearless. He's incredibly confident. I met him when he went to Ole Miss, and he's a good guy. I think it's going to be great for New York. It's interesting because, back in the day, I think coaches used to ease these younger players into the fire, and now they just throw them in. It's very similar to what Atlanta did with Michael Penix and Kirk Cousins, where Kurt lost his starting job to Michael Penix, and Kurt hasn't started since. It reminds me of that, and it's very similar. So from that standpoint, as a friend, as a fan of football, it's hard to see them, put Russell Wilson on the bench. But I also know they want to mix things up. And, the majority of the statistics on teams that start 0-3 to make the playoffs is slim to none. 0-4, it's pretty much never going to happen. So they had to make a drastic move, and they did, and we'll see how it goes. It's a little surprising that they skipped over Jameis Winston as well to go with Jackson instead. But, kind of an interesting move.
Yeah, that is a good point. But I feel like after you hear the boos in New York and they were calling for Jaxson Dart, I think maybe that's why they skipped over him. I mean, I think the fans really do speak a lot. And I think, Dave-O just didn't want to hear it anymore. Maybe he was like, fine, you guys want Jaxson Dart? I'll give you Jaxson Dart, So I think there is a little bit of, well, this wasn't working, and I do think that it was a hard first game. It's always hard the first game coming back. You just never know what to expect. And I mean, he played against the Chiefs. He did have that 450-yard week 2 game, which was pretty incredible. But I do see the inconsistency, and they did still lose. So yeah, you're right. 0-3 is not the Russell Wilson from the past. But I thought he had been playing pretty well, minus the 2 interceptions.
Yeah, no, he had, and again, nowadays you need results immediately, and people's jobs are on the line, and people are looking out for themselves, and so it seems like it's a move had to happen. Obviously, when the media gets involved and you have all these voices coming from all angles, it puts a lot of pressure on these teams, on the ownership, on the head coach. So yeah, I think that's why it happened.
Well, speaking of other teams, though, I do want to talk a little bit about Thursday night preview. And I'm really excited about this matchup, believe it or not, even though it's not the best matchup. We got Seattle at +1.5 points in Arizona. Now, I like this because I think it's weirdly going to be a really good easy win for Seattle. They've been playing exceptionally well recently. They've dominated 44-13, and then beat the Steelers 31-17 in Pittsburgh. Now, the Cardinals also defeated the Saints, but that was back in week 1, and week 1, like we just said, doesn't really count in my mind. And that was only by 7 points. They narrowly beat out the Panthers at home, and they lost to a banged-up 49ers team by 1 point last weekend. So I personally think that Seattle is easily going to win this, but I also think take them plus 1.5 points. Am I crazy for this, or do you agree or disagree?
No, I think that's probably the right move. It's the right call. I have a buddy of mine who's in Medellin, Colombia, believe it or not, and he thinks the Arizona Cardinals are going to win the Super Bowl. So,
What?
yeah, we'll see how that pans out. But I definitely think Seattle at home is that's one of the toughest environments for a team to go into.
No,
Um,
Arizona's
oh,
home.
Arizona's home. Okay, that changes things a little bit. I think
It
it'll be a little
does. It
closer
does.
than a lot of people think. In Arizona, they've been playing well also, not, against the upper echelon teams right now. In Seattle coming off a win against Pittsburgh and beating Aaron Rodgers, that's definitely going to help their confidence. But I think it'll be a pretty close one, actually.
Yeah, I definitely think this will be an interesting matchup, for two teams that I actually don't particularly have any stake in, but I'm liking the I'm liking Seattle a little bit more there. It's 43.5 points. Do you think you like the over or the under, or none? Don't touch it.
I don't touch it.
Don't touch it. I know.
Yeah.
That game could go under. It could just be a weirdly very snoozer. I feel like Thursday night is always like an odd one. Although I will say my over hit last night in Monday Night Football. So I took, as one of my best bets for the week, I took the over. And my goodness, the Lions put up some points. Do you know that this is the first time, I think I read a stat, this was the first time in like almost over 40 some years that they've gotten 90 points, the Lions, in back-to-back games. So it's crazy. The Lions ended up beating the Ravens 38-30. They covered by it was 68 points total. Montgomery, oh my goodness, a 72-yard run, 2 TDs, 151 yards. I mean, it was just such a good game, and both teams played incredibly well. I mean, I will say this. I've never seen Lamar Jackson on his tush so much. 7 sacks. He got
Yeah.
sacked 7 times.
Yeah, no, that defense was incredible last night. They're young, they're hungry, they're aggressive. Their head coach is a savage, and that team plays he kind of leads the charge, and they play kind of with his energy and enthusiasm. So, I'm excited for Detroit. I'm still a little bit shocked that we didn't play them, the Eagles, in the NFC Championship last year.
I
It
know.
was very surprising. And but I'm glad, because I was a little bit scared of them. But they're a good team. They got off to a rocky start. Losing their offensive coordinator was a big deal. But they brought back a lot of those trick plays last night. They had a ton of trick plays that I wasn't really prepared for, and surprised, given that their offensive coordinator, who was known for that, is now the Chicago Bears head coach. But it was a great game, and it's crazy because Baltimore is so talented. You can never count them out. They're right there. And it's like, if a few things go a little bit differently, that's definitely Baltimore's game. But that Lions defense, you're right. I mean, Lamar Jackson just had a rough night. 7 sacks is crazy, especially for a guy like that.
And Derrick Henry with the fumbles. Oh my gosh, that kills. By the way, I had a 5-leg parlay. I hit every single leg except Derrick Henry didn't cover 60 plus rushing yards. He got 50. And
Yeah.
I am so bummed. I should have cashed out before, because I hit every single one. But it's okay. I still hit my other parlay, which I went when I opened up my account and it said, more money. I got excited. But, I are we a little worried about Derrick Henry? It's funny. I actually had Vernon Davis on, and he said he felt like he was too old, like that Henry was getting old, and he's like, it's showing signs now. And I was like, you're crazy. But after last night, I'm like, is it King Henry? Is it time to give it up soon? What are your thoughts on it?
I definitely don't think so. You can never count a guy like that out. I mean, the interviews afterwards, he was so disappointed in himself. Back-to-back games with fumbles in the fourth quarter. But, Saquon is off to a slow start as well. And, we know how incredible both of these guys are. We know how much they've accomplished. They're winners, and you cannot count those guys out. And I think it'll just inspire them to prove people wrong, and to turn the naysayers around for sure. So I definitely don't think Derrick Henry's done.
All right, that's good to know because I actually do love me some King Henry. I really do. I think he's incredible, and I don't know that I'll put him in next week's parlay, but I do agree with you on that one. So, who are you taking to the next game, and what's your next matchup you're going to go to?
Next game I'm going to is Broncos and Eagles in Philly.
Okay.
I'm going to take a break this week. I'm not going to go to Tampa,
Okay.
but super excited. Good possibility. I'm going to bring the Bella twins from WWE. They're huge Eagles
Okay.
fans. Grew up in
Wow.
Pennsylvania. So excited to bring them. I brought Nikki to training camp this year and had a great time with the guys. And then myself, Cooper DeJean, and Big Dom went to WWE Monday Night Raw, and that was awesome. We brought the Super Bowl trophy, so that was really
So
cool.
cool.
And yeah, super, super excited for that one and looking forward to it. I got my eye on the Broncos a little bit. I thought they were going to pull off that game against the Chargers on Sunday,
Yeah,
which they lost. And they're now 1-2, but they're also a dangerous team. Bo Nix is pretty
they are.
fearless. Their coach is awesome, and you can't count them out either.
I agree with you. I actually was teetering on that game as well. And then I thought, I don't know. I feel like it's actually a good matchup against the Chargers. But I think the Broncos are a very tough team, and I'm a little worried about them as well. So, yeah, I mean, especially because we've been winning ugly, as everyone likes to call it. So, I mean, at least we're still winning. And as long as miracles keep happening, I'm fine with it. But, yeah,
Well,
I'm glad to know.
our schedule it's brutal. It's like the NFL
It
does
is.
not like us. Our schedule is the toughest schedule. Obviously, we're the Super Bowl champs, but there's no exhale in that schedule at
Yeah.
all. It's just absolutely insane. And to start out at 3-0 is a miracle, but we've pulled it off.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to see where this goes.
Yeah, I mean, like as Jamie said earlier, it's better to win ugly early and play better later on. I'll take these wins as long as we can get them in the first
Yeah.
couple weeks. But we do desperately need to get our stuff together. So
Yeah.
I'm fingers crossed, and I'm hoping that your girls bring us some good luck from the WWE. I hope it's a smackdown on the Broncos,
Yeah.
and I hope that we win the Bucks first and foremost next week away. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's been a tough place for us. So hopefully we can pull it off.
Yeah, I'll be wearing my Lucky Undies, and my Eagles shirt, so I don't hear
There
it
you
from
go.
you anymore, Dave-O.
That's right.
But Dave-O, thank you so much for joining us. I so appreciate you, and
You're
we'll
welcome.
definitely have to get you back next time. So,
Thanks for having me. Fly, Eagles, fly. Go Birds.
and now it's time to review Ashley's Pick 6, which I give you my locks of the week. And let's start things off with one of the best locks of the week, which was a total surprise. My Philadelphia Eagles somehow cover the spread. It was a miracle. Jordan Davis not only blocks the winning field goal, would-be winning field goal, if I should say, but ends up running it back for a 61-yard TD. My man, mwah, 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 could kiss that man because he not only won the game for us, but he also covered the spread. So, boom, that was a win. Let's also talk about how the Kansas City Chiefs did beat the New York Giants. I honestly hated that I was cheering for KC in that game, but listen, we got the W, and they covered the 5.5 point spread, so that's all we can ask for. Now, another game that we didn't win, though, unfortunately, was the Houston Texans. I have been believing in you, and now I don't, okay? Because you lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I'm sorry. We're moving on. That was a loss, and I give up on you. I'm no longer taking you each week. So, boom. All right, we got the Cleveland Browns that took on the Green Bay Packers, and I took the Packers because every week I've been saying, oh, maybe it's not their week, maybe it was a one-off thing with Micah Parsons, and then I finally take them, and they don't cover the spread. So, thanks. Oh, and that was due to a blocked field goal. It was all about the blocked field goals this week, okay? Another game that happened to was the Bucks at a -6.5 point spread against the Jets, and I took the Bucks. And unfortunately, it looked good. And then all of a sudden, the Jets end up blocking a field goal. They take the lead, but the Bucks come back. And they end up getting a win with the field goal at the very end. It just didn't cover the spread for us. So unfortunately, that was a loss. So we were in the negative until Monday Night Football when we had my last pick to put me even, which I'm still not happy about. I take that as a loss. I don't like a even Steven, okay? But we did take the Ravens and the Lions over, and boy was that over, because the Ravens and Lions put up 68 points total, which is pretty incredible. So that's how we did for this week's Ashley's picks. I will get them next week. I am determined. I almost took the Vikings, and you know what? It's like when you go back and forth in your head, and you know what? I'm going to listen to my gut, and we're going even better next week. So stay tuned. Look for my picks this Friday, and don't forget to spread them.
The money keep calling my name.